when does the show start?
It starts now.
Does it ever finish?
The show is always.
The show is a constant.
We are the show and the show is us.
Shows are us.
This is When Rom Met Com, the podcast where we break down what makes a date movie a great movie. We're currently working our way through Vanity Fair's list of the 42 best romantic comedies of all time to see if they had us at hello or were a big mistake. Huge.
I'm Jack, and joining me as ever is my gal Monday through Sunday, Nora Perone.
So our guests today are our dads.
Yeah.
Say hello.
Hello.
So this is my dad, Mike. He is a psychologist, but is also a lifelong film buff and is the only reason that I have seen as many classic black and white films as I have seen.
All of them were excellent selections, even though she didn't necessarily appreciate it at the time.
Well, yeah, I think I didn't love like the giant Gila monster when I was a kid.
When it was over, Nick, my son, said, "Dad, that was awesome. When can we see another one?" And Nora said, "Dad, that was awful. I never want to see another one."
Oh my God. And that's the kind of positivity that I like to bring to this show.
In a similar way, Nora was very appreciative of me lately when I asked a group of our friends if they wanted to come see the new Avatar movie with me. And Nora's like, "I'm happy you didn't ask me."
Because it would have put me in the position of having to politely say no. So he just knew not to ask, which is great.
Yeah.
It's not that I have anything against Avatar. I just have no interest in Avatar.
Yeah, I'll second that as well.
If you've heard them dulcet tones, that's my dad, Stephen Gregson. How you doing, Dad?
I'm doing very well, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for asking.
Thank you for answering. Stephen is a artist, raconteur, playboy.
I don't know about playboy.
Philanthropist.
Bruce Wayne.
Yeah.
Bruce Wayne not.
An all-round good guy. And we were talking about this the other day. You are definitely responsible for some, I think, of my more bizarre tastes in cinema, but perhaps not the rom-com side of it all.
Although I think I tried to get you into screwball comedies. Preston Sturges, Lubitsch, Billy Wilder.
But like when I was a kid, Dad would like tell me stories about like there is this movie in which a drag queen eats shit. And I'd be like, "Wow, really?" And then you'd also be like, "And there's this movie where this woman lives in the radiator and sings a song." And they were all these incredible stories that I was obsessed with. And then when I finally got to like the age to watch Pink Flamingos, so about 7, these sort of fantasies came to life.
Plus, there was a crossover with Tarkovsky and Solaris and things like that as well.
This is the first time on When Rom Met Com that we've got to Tarkovsky. So
what a milestone.
Note that down, please.
Yes, yes.
What are we talking about? We
are talking about number 17, His Girl Friday, which came out before all of us were born.
Wild.
Yeah, 1940.
Before we actually jump too deep into His Girl Friday, you've told us a little bit about your, like, the films you've raised us on. But how do you feel about romantic comedies in general? When you heard your children had started a romantic comedy podcast.
I can actually tell you what your response was. I said, "Hey, Dad," because I was visiting my parents when you texted me and pitched this podcast. And I said, "Dad, would you listen to a podcast where I talk about rom-coms?" And he went, "No." So, Dad, can you tell me what is your relationship to rom-coms?
I don't think I have one. I know I've enjoyed movies over the years that have been classified as rom-coms, but that's not why I went to go see them.
Mm-hmm.
For example, one that everyone here is familiar with, When Harry Met Sally. I didn't go to see that because it was a romantic comedy. I went to go see it because it was a comedy that was well received and had actors in it who I enjoyed.
Right.
In retrospect, I think I like a lot of movies that are about human interactions and that tell stories about how people's relationships develop. Those can be dramas, they can be biographies, and of course they can be romantic comedies. And so my relationship with romantic comedies is incidental.
From that description, You'd love the Avatar movies.
I saw the first one, and in fact, I saw it in 3D. And
As you have to.
I still have the headache. But I lost interest in the movie about halfway through.
Well,
Yeah, I was similar.
Yeah, I think I was a bit as well. I watched it, but I don't think I saw it in 3D.
no, you saw it at home with me.
What is your relationship with rom-coms?
I loved those screwball comedies from, the 30s and 40s, of which we're going to talk about a little bit anyway, His Girl Friday. But I sort of think screwball comedy in a way morphed into rom-com.
Had either of you seen this movie before you watched it for research for this?
Of course.
Yes,
Okay.
many times probably.
I've watched it with you before.
I probably over the years watched it maybe 4 or 5 times, I would think, because it's one of my favourite movies. And I love Howard Hawks movies in general, but particularly, shall I say some of the ones?
Sure.
Or my
Dad asked me before we watched this, he asked me if we could print out a history of Howard Hawks' filmography. And I said, we could just look them up.
That's true.
We don't need
That's
to
true.
waste paper.
I forget about phones and
Save a tree.
computers, but yeah. But anyway, so just from, but I particularly like the 40s ones, 30s and 40s. So I love Only Angels Have Wings, Bringing Up Baby.
Oh, is that the same director?
Yeah.
Bringing
Okay.
Up Baby.
Who I listened to an interview with him today, looking back on his career. He said about Bring Up Baby, he thinks it doesn't work as a picture because everybody's crazy. And he refuses to make a movie again where everybody's crazy.
Oh, well, he did that for this one, too.
There is a
No,
character who's
No,
not
there was
crazy.
one. There was one sane character.
Well,
I guess it's not sane as like he says crazy. What he really means is there's a straight man. Bruce is the straight man.
Ralph
Yeah.
Bennett, yeah.
well, and Molly Malloy.
Yes.
Yeah.
Except she does.
Well,
she does one of the
well, she
craziest
does.
things.
Well,
Yeah.
but he meant zany. He
Yeah.
meant
Zane,
that interview's in Peter Bogdanovich's
Yes.
book.
Yeah, that's right. You wouldn't call Earl Williams zany either.
No,
would you?
right.
He's
Or
he's
looks
like
so
the
happy.
opposite of zany.
I love how
Right.
educated everyone is. Like, oh, yes, this book that I read. I'm like, yes, we've all read it. I have not read it.
I haven't read it. I had an audio recording of the interview.
No kidding.
Yeah.
I didn't know there was such.
Yeah, it was on a TCM podcast.
Is that the Peter Bogdanovich?
Yeah.
It's on YouTube, I think.
I think this particular book is called Who the Devil Made It, and it's interviews with about a dozen different directors.
Yeah.
And they're pretty free flowing interviews, and the one on Howard Hawks is very good.
Yeah. Yeah, so, Bringing Up Baby, Only Angels Have Wings, His Girl Friday, To Have and Have Not, and The Big Sleep, 2 of my favourite film noirs, and Monkey Business, another great screwball comedy. I Was a Male War Bride as well. So they're all Howard Hawks
Aren't
movies.
you glad we didn't print off the filmography?
And when you think about it, what a tremendous range
Yeah, exactly.
he had.
Yeah, because we didn't even talk about the Westerns.
Right. And the length of his career, of course.
Yeah.
But, it's interesting. The movie he made immediately before His Girl Friday was Only Angels Have Wings. And immediately after that was Sergeant York.
Yeah.
And they couldn't those are 3 very different movies.
I believe Sergeant York is the story of how they replaced Dick York with Dick Sargent on Bewitched.
On Bewitched,
Yeah.
is it?
Yeah.
Yeah, the show was never the same after that. And Jack, your father and I saw it when it was originally broadcast. We weren't watching reruns.
Okay, how many minutes into this recording did it take for one of those when you weren't even a twinkle in
You guys might have watched it, but I'm the one who at least is able to dig out a
Well, you're
Dick Sargent.
you're still watching it.
Oh, I love Bewitched. We'll talk more about. I can't wait till we get to our Bewitched episode.
But straying back to topic, what you said about the length of his career as well. He was doing silent movies as well, wasn't he?
Yes.
And was his last movie in 1970 or something?
Wow.
I don't remember what it was.
But
I can tell you, it was Rio Lobo in 1970.
Yes,
There you go.
another John Wayne
Yeah,
movie.
yeah.
He made so many movies with John Wayne
Yeah.
and Cary Grant
Yeah.
and Gary Cooper. He definitely, and he had a whole stable of character actors that
Yeah,
were sometimes they were often associated with his
Yeah,
movies.
yeah. Well, as a lot of the great directors did. Orson Welles as well had a lot of his.
I mean, yeah, a lot of that comes from like working in the theatre for
Yeah.
Wells and like working with a troupe.
Right.
While we're on the history of this, shall I give some stats for this movie?
Please.
So this is, in case you couldn't guess, directed by Howard Hawks. It stars Cary Grant, Rosalind Russell, the aforementioned Ralph Bellamy, who will reappear in Coming to America, and also in Pretty Woman, but that's not on our list.
It's
But
not.
also, he gets name checked in the movie.
Yes.
He does. That's one of my favorite bits.
We'll
Yeah.
get to
Exactly.
that.
Yeah.
Gene Lockhart and Porter Hall. This was released on the 18th of January, 1940. This has a Rotten Tomatoes score of 99%.
99.
99?
Wow.
I believe that's the highest.
And
Is
that's also ruining all my fun because unless we get a 100, I'm never going to get to ring that's the highest bell ever again.
Sorry.
Ding, ding, ding.
Is that quite unique for Rotten Tomatoes to go that high?
Well, I mean, the highest you can go is 100.
And do they have many at 100?
Jack explains percentages.
Do you know a movie that is 100?
I believe for a while Paddington 2 was.
I'm not sure. I could imagine Paddington 2 is 100 when
I mean, you
when
watched
His
it,
Girl
weren't you?
Friday is a 99.
Fill me in. Is this a movie about the teddy bear?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
How did Citizen Kane do on Rotten Tomatoes?
42. I am curious.
99.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
it's right up there with Paddington 2.
And
Not
His
as
Girl
good-
Friday.
Oh, it's
Not as good as Paddington 2.
Check what Paddington 2 is.
99%.
Oh. Okay, so the movie we're discussing today is in the same league as Citizen Kane and Paddington 2. And depending on what kind of filmgoer you are, you will appreciate one of those things.
Exactly. Yeah.
I'm curious what is 100% on Rotten Tomatoes right now. Battleship Potemkin.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Walt Disney's Pinocchio.
Okay.
Sullivan's Travels. 12
Oh,
Angry Men.
Sullivan's Travels.
12 Angry Men is great.
Yeah. Those are all good.
Yes,
Batman Beyond,
yeah.
Return of the Joker.
Hmm.
Toy
Okay.
Story 2 at 100%. And my favorite, most recent one on there at 100% is Wallace and Gromit, A Vengeance Most Foul.
Oh, that was a good movie.
Yeah. That's the one we can all agree on.
Amazing. We have achieved synchronicity.
So the IMDb describes this as when a newspaper editor's ace reporter ex-wife is about to quit her job and remarry, he buys himself time to win her back by promising her an exclusive interview with a death row convict. Sounds
Inaccurate.
like a blast.
It's also inaccurate.
Yeah.
Vanity Fair says Cary Grant and Rosalind Russell teamed up for this fast-talking newspaper screwball comedy from director Howard Hawks. The film is older than most of the other rom-coms on our list, but in many ways it was before its time. A media world romance fueled by a talky, mile-a-minute romance banter that posited the chemistry between Grant and Russell as a meeting of equally sharp minds with the same nose for news. In adapting the 1928 play The Front Page, Hawks altered the workplace dynamics of workaholic crack reporters in Chicago with one fell swoop. He turned Hildy Johnson into a snappy, bold female reporter, and the ex-wife of Grant's Walter Burns, the sly, knowing editor of the Morning Post with a booming voice and irresistible charm. His Girl Friday lays on the paternalism of the 40s pretty thick. Walter sabotages Hildy's relationship with another man and delights in cornering her into doing more work. But her final decision between the monotony of domesticity and the thrill of chasing the next story rings true nearly 80 years later. And that was written by Sonia Soraya.
It's funny, for my day job, I work on a lot of Hallmark romantic comedies. And the sort of plots for those are usually career woman realizes she's made a mistake and would rather have the simple life in the suburbs with
Ralph Bellamy.
With Ralph Bellamy.
Yeah.
I enjoy them, but like I prefer a movie like this.
Ladies, you can have it all. You can have a job and a man.
Well, this film does posit that you can't have it all.
That's true, actually. You can't have it all, but you can have a job and a man.
You can have what you actually want.
As long as you work with that man.
Yeah.
Well, it's nice that they come together at the end. Honeymoon in Niagara Falls.
Yeah.
Except it doesn't look like she's really going to have a honeymoon.
No.
He can't even take 2 weeks to go to Niagara Falls. If she seemed happy about it, I would be cool with it. Because she goes, can we have a honeymoon this time? And then they get a call about a strike they need to cover. And she goes, okay, I guess we'll go to the strike. If she'd gone, you know what? Screw Niagara Falls. My first love is the news. Then it would have been an amazing ending. But her being disappointed.
But I think the joke there, for me at least, is that they've got to go to Albany, which is where she's sort of avoided having to go.
Right. That is funny.
Yeah.
But I don't like the protagonist ending a little sad. I want her to be thrilled that she's made this choice and not kind of like maybe already regretting it a little bit. I predict they get divorced again.
Yeah, but at least she didn't have to suffer Ralph Bellamy and the mother.
That's true. Although I would have married Ralph Bellamy. I would have sold insurance and I would have cooked and cleaned. I'm a feminist.
In the front page, as you mentioned, Hildy Johnson's a man played by Pat O'Brien, and he's leaving the newspaper because he's getting married and moving to New York, for whatever that's worth. And Walter Burns is doing his best to keep him. So the basic plot line is the same, except for the gender flip and the romantic.
The romance, yeah.
And, once you get past that, the movies are very, very similar. And much of the dialogue is almost identical. You would be hard-pressed to say what was different. And at the end, Hildy does go off with his bride, but he's going to be arrested because he has
the counterfeit money?
No, it's the watch.
No, the watch.
It's the watch. He plants the watch on him, which was it's the last trick that Walter Burns plays on Hildy, whereas in this movie, it's the first trick he plays on him.
Yes. A popular line, I believe, in the play, which is son of a bitch took my watch or something like that, which they couldn't do in this movie because they couldn't say son of a bitch.
No, of course not. Movies were not as spicy as Broadway.
It's just like, so he said bitch. This is
Filthy.
also, the front page was also made into a movie by a director who we've covered already on this podcast.
Billy Wilder.
That's right.
Yes, I also read that. It gets adapted a lot.
Yeah, it was definitely remade in the 70s.
Yeah.
I don't remember who was in it anymore.
And why not? It's a solid story.
So the main comparison is the original, the front page adaptation. My favorite piece of trivia that I encountered is that Howard Hawks apparently hosted a screening where he played both movies side by side to prove that his dialogue was just as fast, if not faster, than the other one.
You say apparently. He talks about it in that Peter Bogdanovich interview.
I love that. What an iconic move. That's a would do. I would do that.
He was like, today that's not a hard thing to do. You can just boot these two movies up on a computer. But back then that would have been a real
huge
pain
amount
in the
of work.
ass.
Like he was like, he was
two
petty.
projectors.
That level of pettiness is something I aspire to.
Oh, don't worry, you're there.
Oh, okay.
But the other thing you said about the dialogue is that when it's overlapping, they made sure that the bit in the middle was the more important bits that you could hear. So when they were overlapping at the front and the end of it, it didn't matter if you didn't catch everything, which I think is very cunning.
And I believe the other bit of trivia I read is that the traditional screenplay, you can get about 90 words in a minute. And this one runs at 240 words a minute.
Yes. So there's a rule of thumb in the industry that a page of script is about a minute of screen time. And so they thought that this movie was going to be 4 hours long. And it's a nice 92 because it is so fast.
Which, funnily enough, the thing that then this inspires, I think, the most in modern media is the TV shows Gilmore Girls and The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel, both written by Amy Sherman Palladino, which is the two shows in which people talk incredibly fast. I believe they said the scripts for Gilmore Girls were the longest you'd ever have for a TV show because they just wrote so much dialogue in and trained those actors to speak rapid fire at each other.
Do you think there's an element of, although it doesn't specifically say so, but it feels like it's set in New York, and there's a lot of that kind of New York sort of...
Isn't that Chicago?
But it feels like that, you know what I mean? That kind of New York dialogue, which
fast
is...
talking.
Yeah, rat-a-tat-tat.
I'll come off the bat. I like this movie.
I like it, but I don't love it.
That's fair.
And I think part of that is because I'm assessing it as a rom-com. And I think there are things that make it a weaker rom-com.
I don't think it's a great rom-com. I will say that, because I think actually what it turns into is a great sort of newspaper movie, which I think actually a lot of newspaper movies aspire to be. And we've covered a few journalism movies now, and I'll say this is probably the best version of a journalist in one of these movies.
I don't know if you two are aware, journalist is one of the top rom-com professions.
Okay.
Yeah. Especially for women.
Yeah.
Journalist is great because you could be anything as a journalist. You have all the free time.
Yeah, you don't have to be necessarily stuck in an office. You can roam about.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
You've said, Stephen, that this is one of your favorite movies.
Yeah, it is, and I think of it more as a comedy with a romance underlying, but I also think of it as a kind of social conscience movie, you know, with the undercurrent of the, you know, political corruption and cynicism. And there's also elements of film noir in it as well. There's a couple of bits that I think are really lovely kind of nods to film noir. There's a scene where you see Hildy go and interview Earl Williams in the cells, and it starts off from a hot shot way above. That's straight
He's
out
in a cage.
of
Earl's in a cage.
exactly.
Yeah.
You're viewing
And
it
he's
from
sort of
above.
standing in the middle of it.
And that could be straight out of a film noir.
And
bit.
honestly, that shot then reminded me of Silence of the Lambs.
Yes.
And then also, because of that, it reminded me of Austin Powers in Goldmember and even X-Men 2 of Magneto. And I was just like, I feel like that's definitely a very influential shot in a film that is perhaps not the most interestingly shot of all time.
But there are certain elements that are powerful.
Yeah.
The other film noir element that I thought was when Hildy's in the press room, and I think Earl Williams has just come in to escape, and someone knocks on the door, and she turns the lights out, and suddenly it's like really kind of film noir, like could be The Third Man or something, and it's all very. And so I love the fact that it's a bit like Howard Hawks. It's genre spanning, you know. So it's not just a rom or com. There's a social context. And also, you look at Howard Hawks and the roles that he gives to women, they're really emancipated and powerful, not like, you know, normal kind of, or some of the more submissive roles that you get. So if you look at, say, Hildy Johnson in this, or Barbara Stanwyck in Ball of Fire, Lauren Bacall in, you know, To Have and Have Not and The Big Sleep, you know.
Yeah.
Because he always seems like a very man's man, but I think he was empowering to women as well.
I think that's an amazing point. And the fact that this character was written as a man and then turned into a woman and almost nothing was changed, I think is great, because if someone had set out to write a woman in this era, she probably would have been a lot less cool.
As Jack Nicholson says in As Good as It Gets, when he's asked how he writes women so well, I think of a man and then I take away all reason.
Oh, stop it. Oh, that's hideous. It's
supposed to be hideous.
Yes, and it's one of his admiring female fans who asked him this question.
Just women are people. Little PSA for the listeners. But I agree. She's such a great female character because she is a whole person. She is like tough. She's smart. She's competent, but she is not so tough and so smart and so competent that she stops being human in that direction.
Well, something I think is interesting is that Rosalind Russell, who plays Hildy, was quite far down the list of actors they were looking for.
Way far down.
Yeah. Offered it to Irene Dunn, Claudette Colbert. Nobody wants to do it. A lot of people were like, it's too small a role.
Which is crazy because it's the biggest role in the movie.
It is.
But I wonder, Rosalind Russell was very insecure because she knew how far down the list she was on this. And she thought Cary Grant had a lot of the better lines than her. So she hired an advertising exec to punch up her dialogue.
I love this.
Because Howard Hawks was like, he's like happy for improv, happy for it to be freewheeling. And so they didn't really care what she was doing. But Cary Grant
hired a joke writer.
Yeah, Cary Grant called on. So every morning he'd greet her with like, what do you got for me today? And I think that's sort of like determinism to be like, I'm nervous, so I'm going to like try my best to like fill out my role more. Adds to the sort of performance she gives in the movie, because it's sort of like, it is a Hildy ass like thing to do almost. Like, I am going to do like everything within my resources.
That very first scene when she comes in, you know, she strides in with that amazing hat and everything.
I love the hat.
And
Would you wear the hat?
I'd wear the hat.
She just exudes kind of confidence and zap, and she's in charge and she's going to do what she wants to do. But of course, she gets hooked in by
She's also
Walter Burns,
followed in tow by Bruce, which, you know,
Bruce.
is sort of a
like an anchor.
Yeah, it is. It's a chain around one's neck.
I love that opening scene.
The way it came about, as I understand it, was Hawks was reading parts of the original story, and he had a female counterpart doing Hildy's part.
Yes.
And he thought it sounded better.
Oh, yeah.
The business about the romantic connection between Walter Burns and Hildy didn't come from Howard Hawks. It came from the one of the scriptwriters that he attached to the show. And Hawks gives him credit for that. But it was, I thought it worked out very, very well. I thought the chemistry between Cary Grant and Rosalind Russell was excellent. I believe they actually lived together in some kind of a vacation home or something that Cary Grant had during the movie. They weren't romantically attached.
No.
In fact, she met the man that became her husband for the rest of her life until she died during that time she was living with Grant.
Cary Grant was the best man at their wedding.
Oh, is that so?
Yeah.
Oh, well, there you go.
I love that. We love love.
We do love love.
But I think making it a romantic connection, it makes it make sense that Cary Grant's behavior is so insane.
Yeah.
Because he's doing it for love.
Yeah.
He's
Having
desperate.
not seen any of the other versions of the front page, I find it so strange
that they're not.
That is so actually why I want to watch Billy Wilder's, because I do think of Lemon and Mattow as such good friends. So I can imagine. But it turns into like, oh, a woman's coming between me and my boys.
I read something. I think there was an interview with Hawks where he said it was so obviously a romance between the two men, but he couldn't put a romance between two men on screen, so he had to make her a woman.
I'd love to make a modern version of it where it is a gay romance.
In the front page, the Walter Burns character is a much smaller part.
Oh.
Doesn't have all that much screen time.
Interesting.
I'd argue that the Walter Burns part is relatively small in this.
Yeah, he's gone for a lot of it. He's in the office.
Yeah.
They're calling him.
Yeah.
That's why I would say it's more, I think of it more as a comedy than as a rom-com, because even though you could argue the sparks fly when Grant and Russell are on screen together, they're not on screen together very much.
Sort of
It's too
beginning
bad.
and the end.
I do think
basically.
it's at its best when they are on screen together.
That opening scene, if that opening scene lasted for 92 minutes, this would be my favorite movie.
Even going from that opening scene to when he goes out to meet Bruce and he corners that old man.
Funny.
And it's so great. And the way he just keeps playing off Bruce. The real Bruce is so good. That's the moment in the film where I'm just like absolutely dying. I do think it does slow down when it gets into the newspaper of it all.
I agree.
Because you've got now suddenly all these guys in the newsroom who are kind of horrid.
Maybe if it's fast-paced all the time, it gets too exhausting. A bit like Light and Shade. It can't be all dark. You didn't need...
As artist.
No, I agree. It's not for me. For me, it's not the pace. It's if they're not flirting, I want them flirting.
Yeah.
As soon as it stops, I want it back.
Considering like this is on the list of best rom-coms of all time, this is why I say I think I'd prefer Bring Up Baby, which I think is more of like a two-hander.
Yeah, that's got more romance in it.
It's also very funny.
You have to remember that Hawks is making a remake of the front page, and he had to be honest about it. I mean, it's an honest remake with this very interesting twist. I think the reason it's on Vanity Fair's list is because it's a great screwball comedy that has a romantic motivation in it. I agree. I wouldn't consider it a romantic comedy, right? If you asked me for a list of rom-coms, my guess is that I would never have thought to put that one on there.
It's a screwball comedy, isn't it? But with a context that goes beyond that as well, because there is that political, social conscience element as well within it, which I think makes it all the more richer in a way. So in some ways, I prefer it to Bringing Up Baby because I think it's more resonant of the real world and there's a political edge to it. Whereas Bringing Up Baby is great, but it's more of a fantasy in a way.
More of a fluff.
I like fluff.
Oh, I do too.
And also the fact that he shot a black police officer, so the Democrats were going to lose the black vote if they didn't execute him.
Yes, and they were so cynical about that, and when they suppressed the reprieve,
exactly,
and then went even further that said shoot on sight.
Yeah,
well, those moments are lightened by one of my favorite characters in this movie, Mr. Pettibone, who comes to deliver the reprieve.
He was very funny.
He's very funny. He's
great, yeah.
He's from like a lot of old Laurel and Hardy movies. He was apparently one of the biggest character actors of his day and was the voice of Sneezy in Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs.
Amazing.
I believe the voice of Jiminy Cricket is also present in this movie. From 100% Rotten Tomatoes.
I was just about to say that. Famously, 100% Rotten Tomatoes, Disney's Pinocchio.
It does go, I think, to some darker places. It is helped by having a character like Pettibone or just some of the more sort of Louis, who's, I think, very funny character.
Louis is very funny.
Louis is great. There's that great bit right at the beginning when Cary Grant lifts Louis up.
Yes, that's such a good bit.
So that you can see
good joke. See what he looks
See
like.
who his mark is.
Yeah. And they say, looks like the actor Ralph Bellamy.
Yeah. I think and I think this has been said 1,000 times, but my God, people used to have faces. The characters you get in this, everybody's got such great face. And I don't think you get that in film as much these days.
No, everyone looks the same.
Yeah. And that's something like, I love that. And like, as much as I despise the men in the press room, I love that they all look fucking
they've got great faces as Louis.
Louis's got a great face, and
the mother as well.
In fact, it's like the reason you have to describe Ralph Bellamy as he looks like Ralph Bellamy is because I don't know how else I'd describe him.
How else would you describe him? He's like very handsome, but in this sort of bland, soft way.
Yeah.
And you're kind of like, you would ask him for directions. Like if you were a little kid in the street and you were lost, you would approach him.
But also that makes him such perfect casting for this role because
it's great.
And he's the what happens is like he gets completely taken advantage of throughout this whole movie.
Isn't he?
He is the ultimate mark. He goes to prison, I think, twice or three times.
Three times. But you know what? He is a feminist icon because she's like, oh, I don't want to be a newspaper man anymore. I want to have a life. And he's like, well, are you sure you want to quit? Because it seems like you really love it. And that would be great if you wanted to keep working. And she's like, no. But like, hell yeah.
Though at the end, when he's just like, I don't think you want to come with me to Albany.
Well, I think,
live with mother.
Yeah, she doesn't want to, as is revealed.
But he's like, I'm going.
Well, yeah, good for he also, you know what? He is an icon. He has self-respect. He wants her to have the things that she wants. He's great. Justice for Bruce.
I hope you and Bruce will be very happy with
I would marry him in a heartbeat.
Not Cary Grant.
I love Cary Grant in this. I think he's so charming. I don't think he's treating her very well.
No, he's not.
This is my sort of feeling on it. I do think they are made for each other.
Yes. Yes. I read a tweet or something the other day that was like, I miss rom-coms where everybody was terrible, but they found their true love anyway.
Yeah.
And that's what this is.
I wonder, with the changing of Hildy to female, I wonder if there was uproar like when they changed the Ghostbusters to female now. Because
when anyone says the phrase a female James Bond.
Yeah.
Well, let's see what happens when people try to change the Paddington Bear. You might be the first one in line to object.
Wow, he got you.
I'd love to see it. Give it.
Yeah, Jack is no longer a feminist as a result of that statement.
Yeah. I appreciate the points that you're making, Nora, but I think someone could make it an argument against them. Cary Grant was a raging narcissist, and she was rather ends up being totally enamored of this bad boy who's done nothing but mistreat her.
Your key word there is a bad boy, and there's a lot of history of women going for the bad boy, isn't there? Particularly in movies as well.
Listen, I want to tell you a little something about my past.
Okay.
You know what?
Whoa.
When I was in graduate school, I had some pretty good luck with the women, and I knew I was in like Flint when one of the girls would say, "Oh, you're so bad." That was it.
Treat them mean, keep them keen.
They said, "You are so bad," and then I said, "I'm in now."
No one ever calls me bad.
Well, see, you have to cultivate that.
I'll go try, I guess. I'll work on it. I do like that one of the long-lasting legacies of this film now is it's become memeified. It's a GIF.
A GIF?
Yeah, it's a GIF. It's a GIF that keeps on giving. The moment in which Cary Grant is like, get out. I'm going to have to tell you to get out if you keep talking like this.
Oh, yeah.
Cuts away and people do it. And then he just cuts back to him and just like does a wonderful arm gesture and get out. And that is a very popular GIF for when people say something objectionable and it's just a shake of the head from Cary Grant at a point saying get out.
I love that.
I was like, oh, it lives on. It lives on. Gen Z love Walter
love a bit of
Burns.
Cary Grant.
Even if they don't know where it comes from.
Well, there's also a very popular meme from the movie Jeremiah Johnson with Redford smiling and nodding with his big beard and long hair. A lot of people are like, oh yeah, that's Zach Galifianakis. That's how the modern world sort of works. We have these abstract bits of movie history that completely disconnected
It's
from...
like they've gone through a washing machine and they've been kind of transformed.
Yes. It is a weird world in which we don't actually know what these things are connected to anymore. We just use them as ways to speak without actually speaking. But that's its legacy, and then it goes on and becomes Gilmore Girls and Mrs. Maisel.
Love that. The point about him mistreating her and exploiting her, I agree, is like an accurate read. It is probably the most accurate read. There's a more pleasant read. I like to twist things in my head so that I can still enjoy them. And the way that I have
See,
twisted
our Never Been
this.
Kissed episode.
Yes.
You've twisted that very far.
Great example. The way I've sort of justified this to myself is that he's not exploiting her. He's luring her back into this thing that he does know that she really loves, which is journalism. And I think that is also a valid reading of he's like, she cannot survive without the excitement, without the adrenaline, without the story. And you see it because when she's in the press room without him, she's about to leave and there's a siren and she's like, oh, maybe it's a good fire.
Just to the point where she chases down.
She tackles the sheriff. It's crazy.
In one of the only scenes that's outside in this movie.
Yeah, you can tell it's adapted from a play because almost all of it happens in that press room.
Yeah. When they are on the phones together later and Ralph Bellamy is there trying to lure her away, they are so in sync with each other. And you're like, oh yeah, these guys are in love. Even if they're going to make each other miserable,
Yeah.
I think they kind of love
It's
the
like
misery.
they're into it.
Yeah, misery loves company, all that kind of stuff.
I prefer to view it as a seduction rather than as a manipulation.
Yeah.
But I think it probably is a manipulation.
Does it bother anyone here that you have this very important part of the movie is this poor guy, Earl, who's a convicted murderer, who is now made an object of amusement by being put in this desk. And can you breathe in there? No.
Yeah.
Well, here, how's that?
Yeah,
That's better
in fact,
now.
He wafts,
Yeah.
wafts his hand.
Yeah.
I'm with you, Dad. It bothers me a lot. Yeah, that's my wouldn't do is basically how everybody treats Earl.
But that's because you guys are more socially conscious than me and my dad.
Well, you could almost forgive
We
this.
hate social consciousness.
Speak for yourself.
You could almost forgive the cynical newspaper men for the way they talk about Earl, but the way they talk to Molly is
I hate
unforgivable.
that.
Yeah.
And they drive her to suicide.
Yeah.
Telling lies to sell newspapers.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's no honest people in this movie except for Earl, Molly, and the process server, or the guy with the grievance, the reprieve, rather.
Oh, and Bruce.
Oh, yeah. And
We love Bruce,
of course,
justice
yes.
for Bruce. You talked about it having these dark moments. It has this dark underlayer.
Yeah.
Like they have that gallows outside their window.
Yeah.
And
Oh my
even
God,
when
that's
we're not
awful.
right. Like
Well,
even when they're not practicing with it and it's making the like sounds, even then you know it's there. You never forget that it's right outside that window.
When Molly sees it and she's like,
Yeah.
what's
Oh.
that for? And like they make a joke about like that's why your boyfriend's gonna make a speech or whatever. Like
Horrible.
Yeah.
Horrible.
The movie is so hilarious, and you find yourself laughing, real deep belly laughs, and then I find myself feeling guilty about it.
Which is probably the point.
But I think, isn't that what great art does?
Art. This is a
No, that's You're right. The movie is a lot more complex.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. It's more complex than just. I don't want to denigrate a rom-com.
if you're saying more complex than just a rom-com,
Yeah, don't-
Dad,
to
I'm
just
not
put
gonna-
that away.
Like I don't want to have words with you. I don't want to regret inviting you on here.
more complex than just a comedy, I think is actually a
Okay,
valid.
than
But
a
like,
comedy,
well, actually,
yeah.
no, just a comedy
Yeah.
isn't even fair.
No, I think it's more complex than an average movie.
Yeah,
Like,
it is. It is a
Yeah.
good, like it is an important, multi-layered movie.
better than Transformers:
Exactly.
Revenge of the Fallen.
That's it. It's
Yeah,
a multi-layered
multi-layered.
movie. Exactly. But the
Like
top,
Avatar.
but the top layer is comedy, isn't it?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
I love your point about laughing and feeling guilty about it. And this is a reference that is targeted to none of the people in the room. So I'm sorry. The Hunger Games.
I like the Hunger Games.
As a franchise, the characters in the Hunger Games are using the torture of children as entertainment. And we, as the audience watching the Hunger Games, are kind of doing the same thing. Like, we are watching the same things that the villains in the show are watching for entertainment. And every once in a while, you remember that and you go, and that's the point.
I do believe Suzanne Collins was deeply influenced by
his Girl Friday, yes. Well, no, Suzanne Collins is making some political points with all of the Hunger Games novels. As is this. Yeah. I think it's a similar thing of like, I think they wanted you to feel guilty for finding it funny on some level.
It's possibly the most political movie we've covered.
There's one or two wonderful moments of slapstick in it as well. Do you remember in the restaurant and he goes to sit down, Cary Grant goes to sit down next to Rosalind and
Ralph
wants to sit next to her and he sits on top of him at the same time. You know, so there's all that as well. There's slapstick stuff too.
Beautifully structured. It feels seamless. Like there's never a moment in it that I don't like, the slapstick or the humor never falls flat for me or doesn't feel real.
Mm-hmm.
When Cary Grant meets Ralph Bellamy, he shakes the umbrella. Instead of shaking his hand, he shakes the umbrella.
So
and he comments on it as well.
That's not right, is it?
And he asks if he's wearing rubbers as well, and of course he is.
That is such a good illustration of character that he's got an umbrella and rain boots, and it looked a little cloudy today.
Yeah.
He is so boring. He is so responsible. He is the opposite of the bad boy Cary Grant. I love him. I love a responsible good boy. I also love a bad boy, I have to say. Can we talk about Rosalind Russell?
I guess, if we have to.
Yeah, because she's the star of the movie.
Well, and she's great.
Stunning in it. She's so excellent in it.
I don't know if I've seen another Rosalind Russell movie off the top of my head.
So what I know about Rosalind Russell is that she was a Broadway gal. She notably originated the role of Auntie Mame in Mame.
Okay.
Yeah,
also played it in the movie. Mm-hmm. And she played Ruth Sherwood in Wonderful Town. First, she was in My Sister Eileen, which was the non-musical adaptation, then played it in the musical version.
I have seen another Rosalind Russell movie, and I've seen Gypsy, where she plays Rose.
Yeah, so big musical theater star.
Natalie Wood, often referenced on this podcast.
Yes. For no reason.
No reason.
No reason at all.
She had actually just finished doing The Women before signing on to this, which is, it's not a romantic comedy, but I feel like it's something we could tackle at some point, especially as it was remade to slightly feel more romantic comedy-esque.
The Women was referenced in one of the... So did you read the taglines on IMDb? They're insane. I am going to read them to you. There's several. Strap in.
These are taglines for what?
For the movie. For His Girl Friday.
I see.
The raciest love battle in years. A wild, witty whirlwind of hysterics. That one's good. I like that one.
That's written by the guy who punched up her dialogue.
This one I have an issue with. Meet the woman behind the man behind the news.
I like that.
What's wrong with that?
I think that's funny.
A little bit sexist. I don't think she's behind the man. I think she's next to the man.
Behind the man. She's in front of the man.
Preach.
In fact, meet the man behind the woman.
Behind the news.
You have to understand this. These are 1940 taglines.
Oh, I know, but this is the 2025 podcast. At last, a man who can tame the wild woman of the women.
Okay.
Yeah, that sounds good.
That one's fun. Can these two-star reporters save an innocent man from the chair? I want you to know that my volume is the cap. I'm doing the capitalization. Oh, yeah, good point. Yeah. It wasn't even the chair. Inaccurate. The most exciting news hunt ever, staged by a beautiful girl.
That's pretty good.
That's my favorite. And then, this one I actually genuinely love. Together for the first time, at each other's throat when they're not in each other's arms.
That's good. That's good.
Okay.
Love that one. Yeah. I love that one. Hate this one. She learned about men. From him.
Which is on the main poster for the film.
Gross. It sounds like she learned about men from herself. She sounds like she's had a life. Hildy Johnson.
I don't know. There's when they were hiding out in Albany.
What did they do?
Well, Cary Grant says we could have been arrested for what we did.
And I looked up if sort of premarital sex was illegal, and it wasn't. So was he making a joke, or did they do something that was illegal? Because there were things that
maybe. Well, there. You say that
They were the original Bonnie
having
and Clyde.
sex out of wedlock in itself wasn't illegal, but there were sex acts that were illegal.
There we go.
Oh,
Yeah, they got dirty.
We will not enumerate them.
No, we won't, because that would be weird.
Enough, yes.
But it is the most exciting news hunt ever staged by a beautiful girl.
yes. I've been waiting for one to come along for a while now.
Rosalind Russell said that the reason she had such a long career is because she never became a sex symbol. So she was able to sustain her career
To mature
beyond.
into characters and yeah.
That's
Yeah.
also how I've been able to keep my career.
Well, same.
Yeah.
No risk of either of us becoming a sex symbol, which is excellent for our career in podcasting.
Yeah, she aged gracefully
Mhm.
and into parts that she couldn't have. If she had been typecast into a category that had to have her be forever young.
Babe,
Yeah.
It's a little bit like Betty Davis.
Yes.
Rosalind Russell is very beautiful, but she was not the kind of beauty that some of her contemporaries were. And I love that she got to be a star. She got to play these elegant roles.
She had a sharpness to her beauty rather than a kind of softness.
Yeah, she doesn't look vulnerable, does
no,
she?
Which is why I think
Yeah.
she's like great casting in Gypsy.
Yeah.
Just interesting to me because we've done a few of our older movies that we've covered so far are like big Oscar players. This gets nothing. Not a single nomination.
That's surprising. You think
Yeah.
screenplay.
You think Rosalind Russell?
Yeah. She's
Oh.
excellent.
She gets her first nomination a few years later.
What won that year then?
Oh, fine. Let me find out.
Comedies tend to be underrepresented in the Academy Awards.
It's true,
I think.
but we've had films like on our list, like The Apartment, like upcoming It Happened One Night, which really sweeps the Oscars in its year.
Mhm.
I think it was different earlier on as well, where comedies kind of could be seen as like, oh, it's the big picture.
I think it's unfair to refer to The Apartment as a comedy. It was a drama. Had many funny parts to it.
It's got a difficult genre to pin
and
down.
it was a kind of love story as well, wasn't it?
It was very much so. Yeah, I think it was more rom-com in a way than this was.
Yes. Yeah.
Actually, funny enough, the big winner at the Oscars that year was the Philadelphia Story.
Oh, okay.
Ah.
Well,
Not on this
Interesting.
list.
So it was a comedy.
That gets Best Actor, Best Screenplay,
Who was the best actor?
Jimmy Stewart.
Because Jimmy Stewart and Cary Grant were both in that movie, right?
Yeah.
And Katharine Hepburn, if I remember. Yeah.
Interesting, though. Yeah, that gets Best Original Screenplay. Oh no, Best Adapted Screenplay indeed. Rebecca wins Best Picture.
that's a great movie, though, as well.
It is a great
Yeah.
movie.
Does anyone have any last points they're desperate to make before we move into our wrap-up segments?
Rating.
Yeah.
Yes.
What a nice movie to talk about with family.
Yeah, what a nice family film.
I said at one point we should have had you on for, we could have done the original Father of the Bride with Spencer Tracy.
Oh, that would have been cute. It's not too late.
It's too late.
I think I prefer his girlfriend.
Yes, I'm sure you do.
I've never been a father of a bride, so
Okay, well, fair enough.
no.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Me neither.
You probably never will be. Goodness gracious.
I don't know. Maybe we'll find out.
You and I have both just been dragged on this episode by my dad. That seems fitting. Okay, so we're going to skip our best song segment because due to the rapid pace of the dialogue in this film, there is no music except scoring over the opening and closing credits.
Yeah.
So nothing for the Spotify playlist. So we'll move right into would do, wouldn't do, have done. Jack, would you like to start us off with a would do?
Sure thing. My would do is I would constantly get my romantic rival arrested.
Okay.
Something I didn't mention about this, it's come up before on this podcast. I love a scheme. And
Jack loves this game.
I love a scheme. And Cary Grant's constantly scheming in this movie. And I was like, yeah, I get that.
So you're a bad boy.
Yeah, I'm a schemer. That's, my would do is, that.
I have a would do and also a would like. So I would wear Hildy's outfit in this. She
Same.
looks incredible. Love every bit of it.
The hats.
Yeah. I
So
like
you'd wear a hat, but not a bonnet?
No, I'm not going to wear a bonnet. I would like for everyone to be as delighted to see me as every single person is in this movie to see Hildy. Everyone
Even
is thrilled.
The guys in the press room at the... You're back!
What a dream to walk into a room and be greeted like that.
It's funny. I didn't even notice that, but it's because people are always that happy to see me.
Great. Dad, what would you do?
I would order a roast beef sandwich for lunch.
So they never get it. They
get salads
No,
instead.
they get it.
Do they?
Yeah,
Oh.
yeah.
They eat salads that they didn't order first, though.
Oh, is that what it is?
Yeah.
I remember them eating. Maybe they didn't get the sandwich.
I don't think I don't think the sandwich ever arrives.
I read somewhere that it's a continuity thing because with sandwiches, you'd have to get the bites right, whereas salad's a bit more, like, it's easier to match.
And Lord knows you couldn't change that line.
Right? Or they couldn't be like, we'll all have the salad.
I like that they all have the roast beef sandwich.
Yeah, crazy. Insane restaurant situation.
I would take my partner's wallet to look after the cash.
Very smart, very sensible.
It's whether she'd give it to you.
Yes. Probably not.
I'm sure we all had a laundry list of wouldn't do's.
I wouldn't leave my partner when they're so clearly perfect for me.
Yeah. You just would not have divorced Cary Grant.
Yeah, that just seems like extra annoying process. And
Yeah.
let's like divorce isn't a final thing, you know.
It's just a judge whispering some words over you.
But then there would have been no movie.
That's true.
I wonder if like you could have just done it without them having been divorced initially and just had it be a tryst, a previous tryst or anything like that.
I like
that's
the
true.
divorce because
Yeah.
because divorce wasn't super common in 1940. So the fact that she asked for a divorce, got one. Also, it gives us that amazing joke about, she says, why did you promise to not fight the divorce and then make it as difficult as possible? Why did you hire a plane to
Yeah.
write,
That's
you know,
great.
don't
Yeah,
forget
yeah.
my dimple, Hildy,
Yeah.
delayed our divorce 20 minutes while the judge went outside to look.
Such
That's a really
My-
good
I
line.
get-
My dimple is still here.
I guess like it's not that I don't think they should be divorced in this movie. I actually think that's fine. It's just it's in my wouldn't do. I would treasure my equally terrible partner.
Yeah, same. I have two. I wouldn't take out a life insurance policy from my ex-wife's new husband and then make my ex-wife, about to be married to that man, the beneficiary of my life insurance policy, therefore incentivizing this man to kill me and get $100,000.
Yeah, but Ralph Bellamy would never kill anyone. He's not that interesting.
He is so dumb. He's like, oh, I don't know, maybe we shouldn't do that. But he's never like, guess I could murder you.
when he says he
You
wants
can
help.
change the beneficiary anytime.
That's true. That's a good point. So he could have used it to manipulate him.
Yes.
But also, he doesn't have any friends or family. It had to be Hildy. Who else was it going to be?
Duffy.
Good point. So yeah, I wouldn't do that. I also wouldn't, and this was my biggest ick of the way that people behaved in this movie, is I would not discuss the PR spin or political strategy ramifications of a man's execution in front of the man.
Oh, I do that all the time.
They are just constantly, like Earl's sitting there
Yeah.
being super polite, super sweet. And they're like, oh, yes, it'll be really great for my career if I do an interview in the newspaper about how not
Yeah.
crazy this man. Shut up. Shut up.
I mean, yes, I agree, but I also think that's definitely just like commentary on the whole thing.
Oh, of course.
Like,
It's disgusting,
It's disgusting, but it is like the psychologist who comes is also like he's a trashy character, but he's very the joke is very funny.
It's
to
all
me.
part of the cynicism, isn't it? In it.
See, I know you're not that kind of psychologist, but you wouldn't do that.
Well, he was an alienist, which is a psychiatrist. In the front page, they don't talk about it as much as they show it. They actually show him, the sheriff, giving the psychiatrist the gun, and he gives it to Earl, and Earl shoots. They show this. He shoots the psychiatrist.
So he gets what he deserves.
Yeah, I'd
Well,
shoot that
apparently
guy.
he didn't kill him, but
What's
he
the
did
psychiatrist's
shoot him.
name? Like it's Egelhoff.
Engelhofer.
That's
Yeah.
a great name.
Yeah. Yeah, but he sucked.
He does suck.
I really didn't like him. Yeah, Dad, what wouldn't you do?
I would not pay a debt in counterfeit money.
Good, I'm glad.
I don't know where I would find counterfeit money, but
Yeah,
I would
truly.
not pay it. I would not pay a debt in counterfeit money.
The bit where Cary Grant asks to see the money.
Yes.
When it's
I just wanted to see it.
Just checking it's the real McCoy.
That's great.
Also, like when he asks Louis for the money, he says, "I don't have that much counterfeit money." He says, "Well, it's just $450." He says, "Oh, I have that on me."
Amazing.
Louis has a lot of the funny lines
Yeah.
in that movie.
Louis
Louis-
great.
That's such a good face.
Didn't appreciate Cary Grant calling him a dumb immigrant.
Ah, That's my wouldn't do.
That's your wouldn't do. As the only immigrant in the room, I really appreciate that. Say more.
Especially after Louis gone out, and the last thing he says, "Boss, I give you the shirt off my back." He goes off, and then he says, "I wouldn't trust a dumb immigrant." You know?
I also don't appreciate Cary Grant's like rant against diabetics.
I shouldn't hire a diabetic. Oh my God, he has a problem with immigrants and diabetics. That's so funny.
The bit about the diabetics in the first movie too.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Yeah, like where does that come from? Was there some slur about being diabetic?
Look, as a diabetic, it's fine. People hate me. It's okay.
You're, not available to be exploited 24/7 by your crazy editor.
Then there's that other amazing scene we haven't talked about where the poet comes in.
Oh my God.
Oh my God.
Benziger, yeah. and is lured to kind of, and then he says, and then kick him out of the office.
Yeah, Cary Grant will double cross anybody.
Yeah,
that's such a funny.
That part,
his sort of like just enjoyment of being recognized is
so sweet.
But he's also so shit.
It's like, you know me? You know who I am?
Yeah.
Oh.
What did you think of the poem?
Oh my God.
You and Shakespeare.
Yes. Oh, yes. That's you wouldn't know Shakespeare either. That's such a good line.
Poor little Bean. And when he finds out he was being used, oh, that would kill me to see.
Well, that's what he gets for quitting his job without giving notice.
Completely agree.
That's what he said, wasn't it? Yeah.
That'll teach him.
Justification.
Jack, what have you done?
I've ad-libbed my way through a performance. As much of this movie is.
Yeah.
I don't like to stick to a script. And they're fantastic ad-libs. We talked about the Ralph Bellamy line. We also like Cary Grant accuses Archie Leach of being the last person he's had to fight. Archie Leach, of course, is Cary Grant. And with Rosalind Russell's entire script being punched up on the side. Yeah, more of this. It's the original Judd Apatow style of filmmaking.
Improv.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Good stuff.
They kind of kept putting in-jokes into the script. Rosalind Russell says at one point, "Oh, get off your trapeze." And that was apparently a reference to Cary Grant's former life as a...
vaudeville.
Yeah, which I think is cute. I have talked really, really, really fast. I speak very quickly. Generally, it's a thing that people criticize about me.
It's the only reason this podcast is listenable.
I sometimes slow down my rate of speech in post when I'm editing the podcast.
Sometimes I speed me up.
We need to just blend. All I can say is people with ADHD love me because I speak at the appropriate ADHD rate, but not the appropriate rate for most people.
Everybody else.
Yeah. I would have been great in this movie. I guess that's my point. When they remake it again.
I did say that you and I should do the play.
Oh, that'd be fun. Bonus episode?
Yeah.
I'd go and see that.
Aw.
Thanks, Dad.
Thanks.
Thanks that you'd come see me in a play.
You notice a deafening silence from this side of the table.
He didn't say he'd buy the ticket.
No.
Dad, what have you done?
I edited a newspaper.
Oh.
It was my high school newspaper, but a newspaper nevertheless.
That's a great answer.
There you go.
I love that.
And you were a bad boy.
And I was a bad boy. And then later I was a bad boy.
Wow, are you Cary Grant?
Was your role model then?
I'm a Renaissance man.
A raconteur.
Great. What have you done?
Well, I jumped out of a window, but not to commit suicide.
I'm glad. Do tell.
Okay, I was about 4 or 5, and my older cousins from Canada were over visiting, and they were playing amongst themselves and ignoring me. So I was feeling a bit sorry for myself. So I sort of wandered into one of the bedrooms, I think maybe 1 or 2 or 3 stories up. I can't remember. It's a long time ago now. And I just looked out of the window and I saw there was a little sort of paved patch below, and then we had a nice garden with a hill. I thought, I wonder what would happen if I just dropped down there. And I did. And I missed the paved bit and hit the garden and sort of rolled down the hill and ended up spraining my ankle miraculously.
Wow.
Whoa.
Oh my God, not even a broken ankle.
No.
Well done.
What did Mom and Dad have to say about this?
I think they might have even seen something go by. I can't remember now. But yeah, I think I was just lucky that I didn't do any more serious damage to myself.
Yeah.
And talk about trying to get attention.
It's remarkable I'm here.
Wow, that's intense.
In other words, all Canadian cousins should pay more attention
To their younger sibling, younger relatives.
That's the moral of this story, yeah.
Stop being so self-occupied Canadians.
Rom-com radar?
The rom-com radar.
Okay.
The most popular segment of the show.
Yeah, the section that no one ever makes fun of.
The section that's very well put together. The rom-com radar is our official ranking system on this show. First part is a ranking scale of 1 to 5, lead/chemistry, the supporting characters, and the plot. The second part is a scale of 0 to 100, 0 being more romantic, 100 being more comedic. So let's kick off with the rom-com radar, lead/chemistry. Nora.
I said 3.5, but maybe it's a 4 because they do have really great chemistry, but they are just not together enough. And I think the chemistry they have doesn't sustain me through the periods of time that they're not together. Yeah, no, I'm sticking with 3.75, let's say. I'm going to average my...
Only 2 decimal places.
Yeah, you can do as many as you want. You do what you want.
I went for a 4.
Okay.
I agree. They're not together enough for me to go to full 5, but when they are together, it sparkles. And I think they are a good romantic comedy pairing.
Mm-hmm.
It is most romantic comedy when they are together.
Yes.
Well, I think their chemistry is fantastic. It doesn't bother me that they're not there all the time. So I would give the chemistry a 5.
I agree. I would also give it a 5. And I think the fact that the movie is generally considered one of the top romantic comedies, in spite of the fact that they're not on screen all that much,
it just shows.
It shows exactly how important their chemistry was.
Supporting characters. I am once again at a 4 because whilst I dislike a lot of like the machinations of the characters, some of them are so funny.
Mm-hmm.
Once again, such faces. Oh, such faces.
I went 3.5, and this is a matter of personal taste. I wanted someone to be likable. Like, I wanted more likability, and I know
That's why you got Mr. Pettibone.
Right. I know that that's not what this movie is doing. They are not intended to be likable. Everything is very successful. They're all performed well, cast well, written well. I just wanted to be like, oh, it's a group of pals that I get to, you know what I mean? And there were people that were really funny that pulled it up to a 3.5, but just the sort of general ick of a lot of it brought it down. And whether that's fair or not, that's just my feeling.
Well, I hate to be up there, but I think it's a 5 again. I love the supporting characters, from Louis, who's got such a great face, and Duffy, Benziger, Pettibone. I know that there's not many that you like, but they're all rich and sort of
definitely
funny and add to the context and the richness of the film.
Once again, I think the mature members of the group have this. I would rate this an easy 5. I thought the supporting cast was phenomenal. And, no one's mentioned Helen Mack, who plays Molly Malloy.
Yeah.
She was absolutely wonderful.
She's great in this.
And I just thought that from top to bottom, the supporting cast was phenomenal. I couldn't have a better one.
Yeah, definitely agree. The cast was incredible.
Yeah.
My score is not a knock on the cast.
And plot.
So my caveat is, before I piss off the mature members of the group, as you say, is I'm judging this as a rom-com plot. For me, it is not a good rom-com plot, really. So I said 2.5.
Yeah, for me, it's a 3. Like, I think it's an interesting story. But yes, again, based on sort of like my rom-com plot of it all, we've got the boss trying to lure back his ex-wife through making her work for him.
Yes.
Which I think is a great sort of rom-com plot. But I think it gets away from that.
Yes, if it stayed on that A plot, I think I would love it.
Yeah.
I think I didn't like the messiness of it, which is perhaps what gives it depth, but it took it away from what I wanted, which was a rom-com.
A shallow rom-com.
Yeah, if we split this into 2 movies.
Who said shallow?
Me. But there's nothing wrong with shallow. Lord knows when I go swimming, I like to stay in the shallow end.
If we split this into 2 movies, and one was a political intrigue about awful people, and one was a fun, flirty newsroom romp, then I would like them both. But mushing them into one made me like it less.
I think I'm the opposite. That's why I like it, because it broadens out and has has, like we were saying, all those different subtexts and contexts which make it resonate more, I think, rather than if it's just a rom. So I would give a plot. I don't know. I don't want to go for 3 5s, so maybe
you can go for 3 5s, Dad.
You absolutely can.
Because I think it encompasses a romance, it encompasses comedy, but it also encompasses, social context and the cynicism of all that into a plot that's coherent and fast moving and momentum, and it doesn't sag at all. So what the hell? I'll go 5 again.
Oh my God.
Yeah, do it. Stick to your guns.
I find that your analysis very persuasive, but I'm going to stop short of that. I'm going to give it a 4.5. There's just a few parts where I just found it jarring, and I felt guilty. And I'll grant that that's part of art, but I'm just going to hold back a little bit on it.
I can understand that as well. Yeah.
So on the rom-com scale, 0 being more romantic, 100 being more comedic, where is everybody falling?
I went 75.
I went 80. I think it's more comedic.
Yeah, I think it's definitely more comedic. I'd go for sort of 60.
I would say 70.
It's a fair spread, but definitely you're leaning more comedic for everybody.
I think it feels more comedic, but at the same time, the relationship with Cary Grant and Rosalind Russell does hold sway. The first thing you think about is actually their repartee and their relationship. And then it kind of blossoms into the comedy and all the other things.
But when they're doing all those other things, they're constantly getting back in touch, right? I mean, he's calling her or she's calling him. And so you never lose sight of their connection.
I will say it's not like a slight against the movie at all, like to be more comedic or more romantic. And what's actually really wonderful about this versus some of the other movies we've had is that everybody is equally funny together. Sometimes you have like the man is more funny or the woman is more funny, depending on where.
Or the couple's not funny at all, and we only get comedy from the friends.
They are giving both as good as each other, which is great, as well as the supporting characters. And I think that's a really nice dynamic that makes this movie as memorable as it is.
Yeah, I just wanted more romance.
You always do.
Yeah. I can't put my finger on exactly what I would change, because I think I'm happy to have the satire and the political intrigue and all of it, but there was just something missing for me.
That's okay, Nora.
Well, there's virtually no kissing. He gives her a kiss at the end when he says goodbye to her.
Maybe that would fix it. Maybe a really good kiss would fix me.
If you've got a problem with that, you go tell the Hays Code.
I don't think they prohibited kissing.
No. But they didn't like it as much. They don't want
unnatural sex practices, yes.
As we're coming up to an end, I want to thank our dads for popping on to this show.
Giving the mature view.
Sometimes we have mature views. Are there any things we want to plug?
Yeah, anyone got anything they want to plug?
I mean, definitely go to @Stephen Gregson Art on Instagram. Check out Dad's artwork.
Okay, yes.
Dad, anything to plug?
No.
Oh, come on. On the tube on the way here, he was like, well, I am publishing a book. And I was like, well, tell us about that. And he went, it's a textbook.
And it's probably 1.5 years away.
What's the title?
Scientific Methods in Behavior Analysis.
That's catchy.
Yeah. Yeah, look out for that, kids.
It's not something you make money from. It's just something you do.
Yeah, we also don't make money from this podcast. So on that note, this has been When Rom Met Com. You can find us on Instagram and TikTok @When Rom Met Com. There are links there to the Vanity Fair article, to our Letterboxd, and to any other fun things that we found and want to share. You can DM us or send us an email at mail@whenrommet.com.
Get it?
We'd love to hear your thoughts on the films, what rom-coms you think should have made the list, your best would-dos, wouldn't-dos, and have-dones, or anything else that you'd like to hear about. If you've had a nice time today, please consider leaving us a review or following us wherever you get your podcasts. Next time, we'll be discussing number 16, My Best Friend's Wedding.
One of my absolute favorites.
Thanks for listening. And remember, we don't hate you, not even a little bit, not even at all. See you next time.
Bye.
Bye.
What's the business about
what's
hating?
it hating?
It's a quote from 10 Things I Hate About You.
Oh, okay.
Isn't that a quote from Shakespeare?
Yeah. No.